willing to get help. And we're not talking about the person that says, hey, I'm good. The person who has major mental health issues, addiction issues, or other trauma. Former foster care kids who don't trust the system. And the state has done such tremendous work. They've extended how long we can help them. But that's what the goal of this bill is. Again, it doesn't go into place for a year, but we are trying to set the stage for how do we help those who are not willing to help themselves, who are in serious concern. So,
are you going to have public hearings so that people can come and go in depth? Because I hear what you're saying, but in the real world, that is not going to work. Even though you're saying they're going to get help, then put them in a hospital or build
But you don't have enough providers for all this.
So you will have
costly to put them in jail. And when you have police interaction with people who are going through these things, they're not going to have a whole lot of patience with that. People are going to end up getting shot, killed behind supposedly getting help in the world that I live in. So that has to go. We got to start all over, and you got to have your people come down there and explain the whole story in the world we really live in.
Yeah, so that's why the bill's delayed a year, because we will have a full second session. Because let's say we get HHS funding. Well, that changes the whole conversation. Because then it's a matter of, hey, we have these services for you, and we can immediately look. The people that are sitting at that United Way desk, hey, we're getting you help. And now, this is not to United Way, it'd be other folks. How do we give wraparound services both to that person who will go through the door, and then we can talk more in depth of those who will not. That's why, let me be very clear. This is the rare bill, and we have two former legislators here. To delay a bill that's not on property taxes or something else is extremely rare. You do not see bills that we wait over a year and a half, and there's a reason. So I hear you. I completely agree. I would have voted no on the bill if it had immediately got into play, 100%.
Well, the other part of it is with the federal layoffs, the tariffs, the stock market, and the rate of consumer buying, purchase power, we're headed in a downward turn right now. Yeah. Do you really believe that you're going to get any money from the federal government?
So the program, as far as I'm aware, has not been cut. Even if the administrative side they've had some layoffs. The actual program, as far as I'm aware, has not been. But again, that's why it's been delayed a year. Because if we don't get that funding, then there's different conversations. One, we probably would cancel all of it and return to the discussion in 2027 when you have a new economic forecast for a 2-year biennium budget. And frankly, you could make another request to the federal government, or we could look at potential grants from the state budget. If that cannot happen again, we go off again. And that's the real reason when we look at, this is a 18-month bill, and the rarity of that showcases we're trying to work together and work with people across the aisle.
I just wanted to also talk about that as well. And this is a clarification in that the bill is not funded.
There have been the author of the bill, people who've been working on it have all agreed that if you don't have the wraparound support, you can't do it. That's why
So the legislation goes away.
we would vote. You would vote to over. You would vote to over. Those discussions have already been happening in the sense of so the reason why it was pushed back a year. So there was a different bill that handled things very differently in the first half of session. You might have gotten emails about reaching out to us about it, and that I think it went in. Pretty sure it went in almost an emergency. The second governor passed it. There were no wraparound services. None of that. So this has been a discussion going on for a while. I do agree that part, the new language was not in a hearing, and that's why some of that going into second session, we can have those hearings. But the idea is putting that framework out of this is how this could look. No one, even the author of some of the amendments, has stated it's not there yet. But it puts a framework out, and it allows us to show HHS of, hey, we are trying. One, we had a law now passed saying we are requesting this. Now we have our Department of Health can reach out, apply, the FSSA, I believe, apply, and then, that it also showing, hey, this is the structure to do it. We will gladly take comments, and as many of you have emailed me, yourself as well, and gladly want to hear how to do it. What the step one is, and all of us know, this is a massive, massive issue. We need to address it. Okay, just.
A follow-up
Yeah,
question. Is what kind of studies or best practices has the legislative?
Watch this fridge test for fake olive oil.
I left these bottles of olive oil in the fridge overnight. So